we got things messed up. You got men out here that can't provide for themselves. Okay, I'm not saying he has to provide for a woman, but I'm saying he can't even take care of himself trying to tell a woman that she needs to be submissive to him. I think that's delusional, right? Because he can't even take care of himself. He's not literally bringing anything to the table at that point. But then you have women, right? But then you have women who are not doing anything either, but think that they deserve everything and then can still be combative, push back, or whatever the case. Some people may want to use the term masculine, and it's like you're blurring, each side is blurring the lines. And I think that's where the real confusion is. Pick a side and stick on it. If you want a man to do all these things for it, then you got to be what that man is. What that man wants. And if he wants you to not speak that often, then that's the reality that you have to take. If you want a man that you want to be able to work as a partner and work as a team, he more likely than not is going to have less than the man who, you know what I'm saying, than the man who wants a girl to not be able to speak or have that voice, that strong voice, as the other one, in retrospect.
I mean, a lot of pieces there.
It is, because it is a multivariate situation.
It is a multivariate situation. But I mean, let's be really clear about something. I think what gets a lot of us in trouble is that we want to have a relationship with one easy to figure out person.
True.
And it's like, these are all going to be different people, even if they got the same income, right? So we've got to sort of demystify this idea that there's this one rich guy who's going to want all this stuff, when it's like, in reality, most black men with money marry black women. They're not like out here going, boy, what a terrible set of options there are out here. They're like, I found a black woman who's good enough for me. She talked just enough for me. She make just enough for me. Like, whatever that means, right? Like, we're not in such a despair. The truth is that people get married less when they have less money. And they also commit less often when they are not in a six-figure relationship, right? So that's across all races. That's not just us. There are some things that I think, because so many people are historically in black communities are coming from also poor communities and immigrant communities, sometimes I think we think it's coming from our culture, when in fact it's like, if you were to go somewhere else, you would feel totally different about it. Like, if you go to most people who are from the South, who have large families from the South, right? They know people who are married and been married. Now, I'm not saying those marriages are healthy. I'm just saying they know people who stay together, and it's not about the fact that the woman's using the man or the man's using the woman, right? And I think in the black community, we don't give ourselves enough credit for the fact that we're better at maintaining close relationships and family than most other cultures are, right? And that's
Can we talk about that? Because I've actually never heard that statistic.
I actually disagree, by the way.
And I mean, you
But
can.
we're gonna
You can argue with the numbers.
Right, you can.
You know, disagree about what?
But I mean, it's like, for
we're
example,
better than all cultures
at most of the cultures in this country. Right?
Oh, in this country, okay.
So when it comes to like
worldwide,
other comparisons of other groups of people in this country, poor people, particularly black people, and hemispherically, I actually mean that.
Southern.
In the hemisphere, I mean like Brazil,
okay.
Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, here, African-based cultures, right? We need each other. We need each other. Mm-hmm. That's why I said, when you lose a bunch of money and then your relationship falls apart, you just lost a bunch of privilege, and now we got each other, and we got to look around and be like, but are you enough to help me get back to my good stage? Like, maybe you're not. Like, maybe you're going to mess up my whole plan for myself. A lot of us know that we grew up in communities with chosen family. A lot of us know that. We call people auntie and uncle who were not our auntie and uncle. We have people in our family who might not have never got married, but they living in the same house, you know? And I think that kind of relationship maintenance is not about the privilege on paper of saying we're married, right? It's about the reality that, like, a lot of times this concept for people, if you say, just cut them off, in our community, we're like, ooh, that's a little harsh, because our first instinct is actually, if you can fix it, maybe you fix it. And even though it might seem rude to more privileged people that you're direct, it's a good social skill to tell people what you need and what you think. Or because otherwise we're walking around and I don't like you and you don't really know it and you're not really sure what to do about that. Like, most of us who have ever been in an office know it's uncomfortable to not know if people like you or not. It's like, is this real? this is not real, but good social relationships feel authentic. And a lot of us know who are from cities with immigrants in it, with Black folks in it, that the most social people we know are Black folks, right? So when we're talking about relationships, we have the skills, but we're also being disempowered a lot and told about ourselves a lot. We have really low self-esteem. Often we lose people that we can't really control losing. From very young ages, a lot of us lose people. So by the time we're talking about adult love, there are so many things that are ingrained into us that just go, try to prevent yourself from getting hurt, which is not the same thing as saying we don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was actually having a conversation about something like this yesterday, and I was saying people have become so naive to life, or if not naive, but dismissive to life, that they only want the good out of everybody. We're not realizing that there's gonna be a bad, and it's inevitable. I don't know what that bad looks like. I'm not saying you have to deal with it and tolerate it, but what I am saying is that when you experience bad with the person, that doesn't necessarily mean it has to be over, which is kind of maybe my programming as a Black man born and raised in America of trying to fix things. But I also see it as that's the reality. If I fight with Aaron today, I might not be mad tomorrow. So why am I still holding on to it?
I might.
Yeah, but like
You can hit me next week.
okay, well then we wait the week. But I feel like people be trying to be so tough for this one thing. Oh nah, red flag, cut off. But I'm like, wait, hold on, time out. How did you contribute to this? Did you contribute, if how? You know what I'm saying? And how can you get over this part? And is this really that monumental? I think we're out here trying to seek a perfect partner without any trouble, any cause, any struggle, and really any willingness in case any of these things do transpire in the near future.
Well, can I ask you a question? Do
Yeah.
you when you make this statement, are you including people who may cross a boundary with you, like a boundary that you've set, for your mental and physical wellness or whatever, and they cross that boundary? Do you agree that it's okay to like red flag, cut them off, versus trying to work through that?
If I keep it,
Slow down.
if I keep it specific to what you're saying, and just want to reiterate it, make sure I'm not going off track. If you set a boundary and somebody crosses it and they break it, right? Obviously, there are different severities. So I'm not saying all boundaries, but let's say if I said, I don't know, let's use an example. Don't throw my clothes away, right?
Okay.
I don't know, like.
I don't know what's been going on in your relationship.
No, it's not
Your
that doesn't
girlfriend
have
said
to,
she liked the jeans.
or don't. All right, how about this?
Shit happens.
You know what I'm saying? Or how about this?
I definitely throw dance.
Don't call me outside of my name. Let's use that.
Sure,
That's a
yeah,
good
that's
one.
a
Okay.
simple one.
That's great.
I was trying not to be cliche, but whatever.
Yeah, you could be cliche.
That's a good one.
Let's say I say don't call me outside my name, and because usually, not all the time, but usually there's always a cause and an effect, right? So there's an action and a reaction. So if maybe I had a boundary that maybe I did not disclose to you, and then you did it to me without knowing, and I called you outside of your name, and now you're like, yo, I told you don't effing do that because blah blah, and now it's just a situation that has gone so far high with just because of the lack of understanding. Now I think it's different when people are being malicious. Like malicious intent is different, but misunderstanding or hell, maybe you did nothing, and I just got so much going on in my life right now that maybe I'm not even sharing with you. I'm stressed about work, I'm not happy at my job, and you just didn't you moved my shoes, and I wanted my shoes by the door, and now I'm losing it, right? Obviously I need a lot of help at that point.
Yeah,
But-
you need therapy.
Yeah, you may need therapy,
there
right?
goes one of them
Ooh, Mr.
signs.
Angry.
But what I am saying is
Shoes by the door.
like, you
You not finna yell at me about no shoes.
No, but in
Yeah.
his defense, is when you suppress so much stuff.
yeah, it's the littlest
Yeah,
thing
for
that's
sure,
But
gonna
that's lack of
just-
communication within your relationship.
or maybe it's sometimes the thing is, especially as Black people, we're so used to carrying weight.
Shouldering, yeah,
Yeah, so that at some point in time, it's like they say, the straw that breaks the camel's back.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's the smallest thing that makes you just act out of character. Now, here's where I personally draw the line. So to answer your question, I don't think they deserve to be cut off for certain reasons, for most reasons, unless it is malicious intent. And it actually, breaks a certain severity level. Whatever that may be is subjective.